of all time, but in the cold light of day, it was a thumping landslide, a massive popular mandate with control of the Senate, and probably the House too, and of course the White House. The Democrats have won by anything close to these margins, a narrative with one of the jubilant nations embracing a glorious new era of hope and change. Instead, the dial's already been set to funereal, led by a somber and belated eulogy from the outgoing vice president.
Only when it is dark enough can you see the stars. I know many people feel like we are entering a dark time, but for the benefit of...
Sweetheart, your administration was the dark time. I don't think you recognize it. Did you not hear what we were talking about with the economy? Those were dark times. I think, yes, you were the dark time. And thank God, because we're moving past it. Guess what? We're turning the page. Yes, we are. And guess what? When we vote, guys, we win.
Of us
Gotta love
all.
it. Taste of your own medicine.
I hope that is not the case. But here's the thing. America, if it is, let us fill the sky with the light of a brilliant, brilliant billion of stars. The light of optimism, of faith, of truth, and service.
Sorry, but what the hell is she talking about?
Bro.
Honestly. There are 5 stages of grief. It's not unreasonable to say that Donald Trump got stuck on denial in 2020, but Harris campaigners and the legacy media are moving quickly into anger and depression.
Hey there. How are you doing? If you watch the show regularly, I'm guessing you're not doing great.
Wow.
I don't think Donald Trump's a good person. I'd even go so far as to say he's a bad person. Now, in my defense, I'm only basing that on everything I've ever been taught about what makes someone good or bad.
Why are you leaving the country?
I can't stay for another 4 years of this. Who knows what he's going to do?
This is not the end.
Now, mind you, these are talk show hosts with large platforms, multi-millionaires. They're not going to be affected by Donald Trump getting in. Matter of fact, they stand to benefit by Donald Trump getting in. What this is fear mongering. Using their large platforms to spew out fear to their supporters who already have a certain disposition when it comes to Trump. So you're furthering the divide. And I really see a very toxic way to use your influence and your platform with these people that are doing this. Like these guys they're not tripping. They're multimillionaires. They're good either way, whether the Kamala got in or Trump got in. So like I continue to turn it to why they have this personal, it seems like, disdain for Trump. Like it just really seems like a lot of celebrities and entertainers have like a personal reason not to like this man, because there's nothing he's gonna do that's gonna take money out their pocket. Trust me.
I mean, for real.
Like the reason why people don't like Trump is because they say that he's only for the rich. These guys, hate to break it to you, they're rich.
And we have to regroup, and we have to continue to fight and continue to work day in and day out.
Honestly, have you ever seen anything more pathetic in your life? It's honestly pathetic. The reality is that a majority of Americans are feeling great because Trump won a massive win, a landslide. More than 70 million people voted for him in the belief that he will put more money in their pockets and make the world and the American border a safer place. Whether he can deliver on those promises or not remains to be seen, and I will call it and him out as I see it throughout the presidency, as I always have done in the past. But people voted for...
And I would say it's a unique position that we're all in as Americans, because his supporters are going to have to hold his feet to the fire, as well as the naysayers, as well as the TDS people who don't like him. Everybody should be able to unify under that fact that, okay, it is what it is. He won, Kamala lost. Now let's hold him accountable for the things he said he was going to do, the issues he campaigned on.
You can't tell me that everything he said sounded bad. Like, bro, y'all can literally sit here and tell me your favorite Trump policy, it being no tax on overtime and no tax on tips. And
itemizing your itemizing your car loan on your taxes, whether it have been the policy at the border, getting us involved, or getting us out of these proxies, I should say,
and keep men out of women's sports. Like, bro, there's something that we all could, like, you know, get around and be like, yeah, let's hold his feet to the fire on that.
For Trump for positive reasons. They're not happy with the direction of the country. They believe Trump will make it better. These grieving late-night hosts and shocked cable news commentators might as well start their broadcast with a disclaimer that says, if you're a Republican, turn off now. They're also delaying the most important stage of grief, which is acceptance. That's when you take stock of what's happened and work out what you're going to do about it. The Democrats did a whole new strategy for winning back the disaffected working-class voters they took for granted and lost. And I've got news for our friends at the Bulwark podcast. That strategy will not include indulging this bizarre and frank fantasy.
And I agree with Bill. I think this is just a horrific event in American history, and we've got a period of disillusionment that we're going to have to deal with before we mobilize the resistance. And I think it will be the resistance. I'm prepared to put undocumented people in my attic.
I can also say with some certainty that liberal...
I'm going to put undocumented migrants, illegal migrants in my attic, just like what? Like what? Like you're hiding the Jews from the Nazis or something, bro? No, you're not. You're actually hurting Americans. You're not those people who are helping the Jews escape Nazis tyranny, okay? You're not them.
So weak. Hey, shout out James Foley, $2. He said, can you tell my kids to sleep? I got a blunt ready.
Hey, y'all got...
Hey, James Foley's kids, bro. It's bedtime. It's bedtime.
Come on.
It's time to go to bed. Y'all had a good day. Time to go to bed.
Okay. I know it's Saturday, but come on. Time for bed.
Time for bed, man. Time for bed. Dad got some politics to catch up on and some brainstorming to do.
Let's go.
Journalists and Democrat politicians will not end up behind bars in the next 4 years, at least not for their politics. But unfortunately, that message hasn't reached the screeching AOC.
Donald Trump has talked about turning the military on U.S. citizens that he deems his domestic political enemies. Authoritarians and people that he affiliates closely with and strongmen abroad in regimes like that, it is not uncommon to jail political dissidents or legislative opponents.
The last time I checked, it was the Democrats who turned the legislative arsenal onto their political opponents and tried to, in earnest, to jail Donald Trump himself. That was wrong then, and it's wrong now. So much so that, in my view, as unpopular as it may be, Trump should make one of his first moves to pardon Hunter Biden. America's deeply and bitterly divided. Trump's opponents clearly are verging on hysterical. It's that kind of gesture that possibly could bring the country a little bit closer together. In a moment, I'm joined by an all-star cast to dissect the latest news on this bombshell victory for Trump. But first, a long-time Republican strategist who's worked for Presidents Nixon, Reagan, and Trump. He's a man that many, including himself, credit with first suggesting that Donald run for president. It's the infamous, notorious, famous Roger Stone. Roger, how are you?
Great, having a great day.
Well, I'm sure you are. I mean, 1998 was the first time that you suggested to Donald Trump that he run for president. Did you actually ever imagine that not only would he win one term, but he would then lose and come back in the way that he's done with a massively bigger majority?
Yes, I actually did. I met him, of course, in 1980 when I was working for Ronald Reagan. But by 1988, I realized that he had the size, I don't mean the physical size, but the stature and the courage and the independence and the stamina to not be just a great candidate for president, but to actually be a great president. And I think I have been validated yet again yesterday.
Yeah, I spoke to him yesterday morning. I rang him and had a chat with him. And even he seemed a bit shell-shocked by the size of the victory. I mean, to win the White House, to win the Senate, probably the House, to have potentially 2 more picks of the Supreme Court coming in the next 4 years. Almost all the state stuff was a landslide too. It's an extraordinary triumph for Trump, an amazing redemption for him personally. But also
electoral vote, we foreseen that. But the popular vote, that was a wild card right there. Actually, I think
that was a cherry on top.
Bro, Indiana was a wild card too, though. I'm like, whoa, Indiana went red?
Indiana, Nevada, Arizona ultimately ended up turning.
And most liberals was giving that to him. Actually, here's the thing. I gave it to him personally.
Wisconsin as well. It was some surprise little dubs he got off in there. And ultimately, that turned it for him.
Yeah, I love it.
An extraordinary opportunity for him.
It just worked out.
Well, I think you're exactly right. I mean, first of all, it is a testimony to his resilience, his strength, his persistence, but it's also a unique opportunity to return the country to unprecedented peace and prosperity, as well as opportunity for all Americans. I really think not only does he understand that, but I think he demonstrated in his first term that he knows how to lead us in that direction. And he has a very specific plan to get us back there. So I think we're about to enter a golden age in this country.
I was among many who thought after January the 6th, it was over for Donald Trump, that we'd never see him anywhere near the White House again. It's been a remarkable comeback. How do you think he's pulled this off in terms of him personally? What are the characteristics of Donald Trump that have enabled him to make one of the greatest comebacks anyone's ever seen?
Look, I worked for Richard.
Yeah, to come back and completely sweep Kamala Harris, like electoral and popular vote, nobody expected.
And that is true. You got to think about the run he had from 2020. They said he lost the popular vote in 2020, obviously lost the electoral. But
in 2016, he lost the popular and won the electoral.
Yeah, but after 2020, everybody kind of thought like he might hang it up, might be, political career might be over with. He has things to do, back to the running his businesses, right? He rallied from that, said that he still wanted to run. Assassination attempts, weaponization of the DOJ, vilified in the media, all be damned. The man still ran. And again, it is a testament to his persistence and his will. And ultimately, he was rewarded with the dub.
Oh, man. And make sure y'all like the video, man. Go ahead and double tap that screen or the 3 dots up there in the corner, man. Appreciate y'all's support, man. Let's keep it going.
Richard Nixon. I worked for Senator Bob Dole. They were both very tough guys. Donald Trump is the toughest human being I have ever met. He is persistent when he has an idea. It's unshakable. He has a work ethic, which was demonstrated once again, as it was at the end of the 2016 campaign. That leaves.
Bro literally campaigned or did a speech every day, did a rally almost every day.
No days off for that, man. Like I said, it was very admirable to see. Like, man rally, is what, 78, 76, bro, 78?
Literally from like interview, podcast, rally.
No. Interview, PJ, next state, rally, PJ again. Town hall. My man never slept, bro.
Yeah, he kept it
He
going.
probably got naps on the PJ, and that was pretty much it. You really have to respect the consistency. And like I said, the man's what, 76, 78?
Yeah, bro, that boy ain't quit.
He's doing this in most people's later stages or last stages of their life. He's still going like a 30, 20-year-old man.
Bro, when Biden was running, he was Trump's age, and he was in the basement the whole time. Like, it shows a difference of performance here, especially when they're like close in age.
So y'all really got to put the narrative to bed that Trump is getting old. He's incoherent. He's doing the word salads. Like, nah, this man is 78 and he's going a lot harder than most middle-aged men.
Oh God, make sure you like the video, man. It brings more people into the conversation, man. We appreciate the support.
Let's do it.
Younger men like me behind.
Oh, yeah, and any thoughts, questions, comments, or support to the channel, you guys want to go ahead and super chat in $1 or more. We'll read it aloud on screen. We appreciate y'all, man. S.E.T Key Media. But yes, like the video. Let's get some more people in here.
In a very strange way, his enemies, in their efforts to destroy him, to bankrupt him, to send him to jail, they turbocharged his campaign. I felt at the time that he announced his candidacy for this election, a certain flatness among the electorate in terms of their response to it. Yet when they tried to destroy him, they literally turbocharged his campaign. It's hard to remember now, but many people said, oh, well, Ron DeSantis will easily become the Republican nominee. Trump is yesterday's news. He vanquished DeSantis, and quite easily. He stormed to the nomination in an unprecedented style.
Bro ain't even show up to the primary debate, but he won the primary. He's like, I ain't debating these dudes, man. It's Trump 2024. Like, everybody called him cocky and arrogant for him, but I was like, nah, he kind of just knows the voting base, and they know, like, well, he's running again. We got to give it to him.
He got 3 times.
Bro, there are people who are in the primary who supported Trump. Actually, Vivek Ramaswamy destroyed everybody in the primary just to give it to Trump. Now that I'm looking at it.
The margin of the previous big winner of the Iowa caucuses. That was my old boss, Senator Bob Dole. It was a relatively easy nomination, and the party is now completely remade in his image as the party of working Americans, the party of the middle class. They have underestimated his strength. The man is a lion.
I thought there was some. Listen, I totally agree with you about that. And in fact, I wrote columns saying that I thought DeSantis was the future. But then I think the way the left weaponized the justice system so transparently against Trump, you could see his own poll ratings from that moment, as you put it, start to turbocharge. And they carried on. In fact, the more times he appeared in court, the better his approval rating got, to the extent that by the time we got to last week, his personal approval rating was the highest it had ever been as a politician, despite the fact that by then he was a convicted felon. So it's been an extraordinary thing to watch, and yet I felt the overreach by taking him through a criminal court over a ridiculous case involving Stormy Daniels from 20 years ago. I thought that was such an obvious abuse of power
Shout out Big
by
Wave
the
Dave,
Democrats that actually it backfired completely.
I agree with all of that. The problem, of course, is that they are unhinged by their hatred for him. And I think it has clouded their political judgment, which is why they overreached. The American people were able to see that he was being unfairly persecuted in an effort to interfere in the election and destroy his campaign to return to the White House. So, yes, he was ultimately helped.
That's what the trials are for, to put the felony tag on him. Not only you want to call him a felony, a dictator, an essayer. It's like they try to put every bad label on this man, and it didn't work. He still won. But yes, that's literally what they were trying to do, and they used almost every system of the government to do so. Like, you could even go as far as to say that they damn near used the CIA or whatever services that they used to take the shot at that man.
By his enemies, because they tried so hard to destroy him.
What kind of president will he be second time round, Roger? Because first 3 years of his presidency were going pretty well. People were offended by stuff that came out of his mouth, but in terms of what he did, he was a reasonably moderate, successful Republican president. Then he got hit by the COVID pandemic, which, as it did to every country in the world, threw everything up on its head. And then we had the fallout, obviously, him refusing to accept the election result, January 6th, and so on. I don't want to go back over that. But he's got a chance now to reset his legacy, and he knows he can't run again. So I suspect, knowing him, and you can tell me what you think, but I suspect knowing him, he's going to really go for it this time. And he's going to try and really cement his legacy. What I'm not sure about is exactly how he sees that legacy. What do you think he'll be doing?
First of all, I do think he's going to be magnanimous in victory. He was in 2016, but his enemies would never concede defeat. I think he has a unique opportunity in a number of areas to be remembered as one of our greatest presidents. He understands that low energy prices, drilling again for gas and oil, are the cornerstone to a vibrant economy. He also understands that a vibrant economy, as JFK said, a rising tide lifts all boats. He has a deep commitment to criminal justice reform. We saw that in the first term, in the First Step Act, in the Second Chance Act. I think he should do more in that area, and I think he will. He's very focused now on the fact that there's a huge lack of affordable housing in America. It doesn't matter whether you're a buyer or a renter. It's impossible to buy, and it's too expensive to rent. He's a builder. He's going to fix that problem. I think he understands that he has a unique opportunity
My bad, man. We got you, Big Wave Dave. We got you. Let me go ahead and pull that up right now because I was just looking at it and I'm like, oh shit.
And for everybody else, Big Wave Dave, $5. He says, "You'll play that video I sent on my page. How the Dems continue to push lies like police dying on J6."
Bro, ain't that crazy? Oh, one guy took his life. I know after the fact.
Imminent threat to democracy that Trump would be, calling him a fascist, really turned voters off. You've got now President Biden hosting President-elect Trump.
And shout out Big Wave Dave. Is this on his page?
Yeah, it actually is.
Oh yeah, y'all go subscribe to Big Wave Dave. Y'all make sure to go subscribe to Big Wave Dave's page right now, man.
If you like your guns and all that good stuff, and you like your trucks, hey man, Big Wave Dave's your man. So go ahead and support a true American. Let's go.
Top of the show on Wednesday, like Biden spoke numerous times at the threat of democracy that Trump would be, and now he's having them to the White House for a meeting.
I'm glad that you point out that Joe Biden is hosting Donald Trump to discuss the orderly transfer of power, because when Joe Biden beat Donald Trump 4 years ago, Donald Trump incited an insurrection and caused the death of several Capitol Hill police officers, and I was in the Capitol that day. So the patriotism, the grace, the self...
And shout out Big Wave Dave. He's pretty much saying that he's like, hold on, this was today, and Fox didn't call him out. Trash mainstream media. Not even Fox called him out. You would expect Fox to at least check him, but that's the problem, though. They're just letting these people
They're so selective with the stories that they cover.
At this point, it's almost like they're setting up to try to do what they did 2016, where they just try to slander him his entire 4 years. I think that's where, honestly, all the TDS came from, was the straight slander for 4 years straight, and they just kept it going.
Yeah.
Shout out Big Wave Day, man. Appreciate the
not
support.
only restore the country to its former greatness, but now to go down in the history books with FDR, with Theodore Roosevelt, with some of our...
And make sure to like the video, guys. Make sure to double tap that screen, guys. Let's get more people in on the conversation, or the 3 dots up there to also like the video. We appreciate y'all support.
Abraham Lincoln, some of our greatest presidents.
Shout out Big Wave Dave. He said Fox never calls them out.
Fox, for as many people that want to say that they're conservative leaning or always on the Republican side, they are the same in the sense that they selectively cover stories as well. If it doesn't align with their bias or with the message they want to purport, they'll leave that story alone. They got the same type of practices that every other mainstream media uses.
Absolutely the right man at the right time for this job.
It is quite staggering that somebody who has been branded the most racist candidate in history, a neo-Nazi, a fascist, blah, 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 ended up with this surging support from black voters and particularly from Latino voters.
He got all the support from the blacks.
Blacks.
Yeah, and black women were mad at us because 20% of us voted for Trump, even though they had 70 or they had 80% of black men who voted for Kamala. But somehow it's our fault.
And shout out Big Wave Dave, another $2. He says every interview they let them spew lies, bro. Yeah, unchecked, and they just keep doing it,
bro.
They just keep doing it. That's the sad part about it. Nobody says anything, so they get to continue to do it. And the fact that nobody ever checks them or says anything leads most people to believe that they're just telling the
truth.
The truth, like,
yeah, because nobody's fact checking them when they need to be fact checked.
Shout out Dustin Warren, $5, and it's his first super chat on the live stream, and we appreciate that, bro. These people are delusional. God saved us, not only America but the world. This isn't only about our nation; it's about the survival of humanity. Oh, nice. Appreciate that perspective. Shout out Dustin, man. Y'all make sure to go like his super chat.
When he was up against a female black candidate, what do you think that says about America? Was it just that American voters saw through all the Nazi nonsense?
First of all, it was nonsense. And our mistake, perhaps, as political analysts, is to not realize that black people and Hispanics and really all people, they all want the same thing. They want economic opportunity and security. They want safe and secure neighborhoods. They want low gas prices. They want low food prices. They realize, based on his 4 years and the last 4 years, that Donald Trump brought us those things before and that he could bring them again. So I think this is why he made these historic gains. Let's recognize that he won an absolute majority of Hispanic Americans. I mean, George W. Bush, I think, had the highest previous high water mark at about 38.5%. So people voted for their future, and they trust him with their future far more than they trust.
And yeah, they definitely do. But bro, we trust Kamala Harris with the not Kamala Harris. Well, the only thing we trust Kamala Harris with is honestly to raise taxes on the American people. But what we do trust Trump with is, yes, protecting our jobs, the economy, the border. We trust this man with this stuff. So when y'all try to come at us like, oh, you're voting against your interest, I'm like, well, what you mean? The man been preaching my interest for about, like, I don't know, about 2 years straight. So what are y'all talking about? And you know, it's crazy. Talk about voting for your interest and all that crazy stuff, because women voted for their interest as well. Well, at least their perceived interest of what they thought was abortion. And now we have the 4B movement. Do you know what that is, Key?
The 4B movement?
Yeah, I know, right? Well, I got something for you. Let's get it.
In the wake of Donald Trump's historic win, there's a new movement sweeping America. Disappointed women are actually swearing off men.
There's no way I am letting any man near me for the next few years.
No man is going near you, sweetheart. Trust me.
You, baby girl? I ain't trying to be
Really?
funny. Shout out to my BBW lovers, but hey, I ain't gonna lie. I don't think she's getting approached like a woman half her size is.
I'm weak low key though. You know, maybe you can take that stance if you were like, I don't know, 70 pounds lighter.
Yeah, baby. I think you gotta take what comes to you.
Respectfully.
You know?
Big Wave Dave, man. Shout out. Take what you get from media and do your own research. Be informed. Don't be sheep.
Yeah, please don't, man. And if anything, this campaign cycle should have taught us that these media outlets, these media platforms are going to tell the stories they want to tell and suppress the ones they don't want to highlight. And it's as simple as that. And it's like Big Wave Dave said, I mean, I guess take what they tell you, but only let that be a precursor to the individual work and individual journalism that needs to be done. We are in the age of access when it comes to the internet. We should all be our own independent journalists to a degree.
There's no way I am letting any man near me for the next few years.
They're saying no to dating, no to marriage, no to sex.
Celibacy, at least to me, isn't that hard.
And no to having children.
Like
so many other women in America.
Yeah, because y'all be home. I mean, you know, y'all be expressing y'all sexuality, so, you know, it is what it is.
We'll see how long that lasts.
You know, expressing your sexuality. Let's see how that goes.
Who have been considering trying to get pregnant. I woke up today and said, nope, not anymore.
This woman is actually shaving her head.
Done.
She's not the first person to do that.
Only thing approaching the big girl is high blood pressure.
Diabetes.
Man.
Shortness of breath.
And shout out Big Wave saying,
overactive sweat glands.
Grain of salt. Like, low key, you can believe the situation that they're talking about, but their opinion or their bias on the situation, you gotta separate yourself from it. Do your own research into it and do a deeper dive. Because what they're talking about is real, but what their spin on it, that's what's fake news.
The only thing approaching that fat woman is life insurance agents and personal trainers.
It's a personal trainer better approach your ass.
In protest. It's being called the
Life
4B
insurance, 'cause you're
movement,
gonna need
and
it.
women are taking to social media declaring their allegiance.
The 4B movement was actually started by women in South Korea back in 2019 as part of their version of the Me Too movement. The number 4 refers to dating, marriage, sex, and children.
Who wins when that happens, though? When we literally have women deciding not to take place in the society, and one way to build society is what? By sex, relationships, and procreation. So who wins when women say like, yeah, I'm just not going to carry on my lineage?
Bro,
who wins?
Bro, some of y'all hoes, sexually liberated women, don't got 4 years to waste. What you talking about? Yo, calm your ass down. Just sit down and go get you a good man. Why wait 4 more years of your life that you wasting, baby? Them eggs is dropping. Now go ahead and have more kids, man. Help America out, okay?
This movement's
Make sure I
way
like the
more
video,
important
guys.
now than ever.
26-year-old Alexa Vargas joined the movement 2 years ago and expects a surge of interest in the wake of the Trump victory.
So you
in 2022 swore off dating forever.
Not forever. We're not going to settle for low-value men that don't respect us anymore.
But lots of women are mocking the no marriage, no sex movement.
You're just trying to protect your offspring. Y'all be all right, bro. Y'all don't need abortion like y'all think y'all do. Actually, no. Just go to a state that gives you the right abortion laws that you want.
So this femcel 4B movement can gain mainstream media traction, but the red pill, the manosphere can't.
Bro,
It gets
no,
admonished,
actually, no,
it gets torn apart.
I would say this. It's crazy how this 4B movement can get attention, but the malpractices in these abortion clinics that are taking these women's lives can't get no spotlight. That's crazy. It's crazy to me.
What is a low value man? I'm really trying to figure that out.
Man, any person that don't agree with leftist ideals.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, well, to them, of course.
Mama was cutting her hair off. Oh, bold.
Wild. The fact that these crazos are out here, they're like, we're not touching men. I hope that means more for me.
I'm weak.
I mean, yeah, honestly, that's the mentality some women should have. Like, all right, cool. That means the better men I can kind of get now. I can kind of access.
God, hold on, you take yourself out of the competition?
Bet, cool.
Say less.
And let's be honest, half of those girls that just said that, they wouldn't get an approach. Like I said, baby girl that first came up in the first clip, them 250 plus babies, listen, you ain't got to worry about us.
It ain't happening.
You ain't got to worry about us. It's a drunk Tuesday night.
I'm weak. Drunk Tuesday.
Piers, look, anybody who sports a boutonniere like that can't really be a bad guy.
Hey, shout out Brittany Peabody, $5. Crazy how the left focuses on race constantly while calling the right racist. Make it make sense. And shout out Big Wave Dave, $20. Yo, did you see the video of the woman that said everyone that voted for Trump should have to wear their MAGA hats 24/7? Sounds kind of like a Nazi camp, right? Like the Star of David or some shit. These women can shave their heads. They are just marking themselves. Bro, like,
thank you. It's like, okay, well, we know what you're on.
Bro, like I said, these liberals got a uniform, whether it be the septum piercing, the stupid, goofy ass, big, trendy hipster glasses,
colored hair or bald head.
Bro, like they're easily identifiable, bro.
And one, either overly overweight, either so overweight, or they're just a scrawny motherfucker. A scrawny person that you can damn near choke with your index and your thumb.
But back to Brittany Peabody, because you did make a good point. Like, that's all the left does is race bait and identity politics. The right tends to stay away from it, honestly. Conservatives really don't touch that topic like that. They really don't get into it like that.
Conservatives hit you with the everybody's equal. We all have the same opportunity. Welcome to America. Okay.
But here you got the left being like, oh no, blacks need the most attention. We need this DEI, inclusivity, affirmative action, like, which is racist in itself, if you ask me. Okay. But you make a great point with that. I couldn't agree more.
Did you get Big Wave Days?
Yeah, I did.
All right,
Roger, it's great to have you on Uncensored. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and God bless you.
Well, joining me now to discuss the latest is the former White House Communications Director, now host of The Rest of Politics USA, Anthony Scaramucci, the co-host of Gutfeld and author of I Used to Like You Until, Kat Timpf, also the former Communications Director and host of the Sean Spicer Show, Sean Spicer.
And shout out Big Wave Dave, man, for the $50 baller alert. Let's go, man. Shout out Big Wave Dave.
Hey, shout out. Always showing support, bro. You got it?
Yeah, I got you, big dog. And honestly, though, they project and they do what they accuse others of what they do. And yes, that is. It's like, bro, they call us racist, but they're over here making racist comments, calling black men who voted for Trump uneducated.
Throwing stones in a glass house, the pot calling the kettle black.
Actually, it's kind of crazy because as soon as you're a Trump supporter and you're of color, yo, all racist remarks can fly out their mouth now. Yeah. It's like they now have the green card to do it. And you know what's even scarier? A black liberal could come upon it and they'll think it's okay just because, well, you're a Trump supporter, so you deserve this racial hate.
Right.
Coming from a white man.
Right. So they'll co-sign the racism coming from a white liberal just because, again, like you're a black conservative or you don't align with the black liberal party anymore. Mm-hmm. It's crazy. Like you said, you're green lit after you leave the party and anybody can say anything about you. The most racist remarks. Bro, I seen somebody in our comments say, I hope you two get what you deserve from police.
Bro, yeah,
what do we deserve?
Bro, I hope that police immunity takes y'all out.
I was like, what do we deserve? Like, god damn.
All right, then it is
for
what
speaking
it is.
our minds?
I guess
She got niggas in a chokehold, bro.
Bro, let me know when free thinking became illegal.
A fucking full Nelson. Some of y'all are in a full Nelson, a vice grip from the Democratic Party, bro. Y'all gonna lose y'all breath sooner or later.
Sad.
A remarkable trio to have to discuss this. Let me start with you, Anthony, if I may. I'm sure you won't be surprised I want to start with you, because I don't think I've ever seen anyone more certain on social media that they were going to be right about something who was then proven to be so spectacularly wrong. Your thoughts?
Well, I actually think you are a dirtbag, Pierce. So, I mean, I know Roger doesn't think you are one, but I do.
Hey, yo.
I'm kidding. Look, I got it wrong. I'm a big boy. I got it wrong. I congratulated the president, congratulated Elon Musk. Democratic process. They ran a brilliant campaign. It was incredibly well executed. And I got it wrong. And so when you get something wrong, especially if you're an entrepreneur, if you get something wrong, you say, I got something wrong, you own up to it, and you make adaptation. And so I'm happy to confess on your show or anywhere, I got it wrong. You know, Barry Diller, when he lost the Paramount deal in 1993, I was a younger man then, and he said something that I think was brilliant about life. They won, period. We lost, period, next. And I see it that way. And by the way, I wish the president-elect well. He's the president for everybody, and I want him to do a good job. I would love to have him dial down some of the rhetoric against his fellow Americans. I don't think that's going to help him unify the country, and I hope he considers doing that.
On the rhetoric, though, you see, I think one of the biggest problems for the Democrats was that they kept talking about how offended they were by Trump's rhetoric, while simultaneously constantly calling him a Nazi, a fascist, and this and that, using the most extreme rhetoric imaginable, comparing him to a man.
Using the most hateful language, the most hateful imagery. Like, yes, little celebrities holding a fake disembodied head of the president. I mean, bro, plays of the president being assassinated. I mean, come on now, let's be real now. And shout out Big Wave Dave, man. We appreciate the support, man. Another baller alert, $100 super chat. And let's see here. Let me go ahead and get that for you real quick. Between the MAGA hat lady and the people sending racist texts to blacks, the libs are racist as fuck. How many people says fed up shit to you? Well, I'm sorry. Yeah, how many people say effed up shit to you two that we block? A lot, bro. Some people say so much grimy things. I really wonder, like, and I'm talking about, bro, I know some of them are black, and I know some of them are just coming from either, you know, I can't even say white. Sometimes, you know, it comes from Asians, Indians, all people.
Nah, but
just because we disagree.
The racism is kind of sanctioned when it comes from that side. That is just a great point. Like, I kind of really want to hone in on that, because the same remarks could be said by a conservative and everybody would hop on their ass, but because they were said by a liberal, it's not a big deal. Oh, because black people are supposed to identify as a liberal inherently, or we're supposed to be inherently democratic. When we leave that party, we deserve a tongue lashing. Like, I just don't get the justification. Like, you really have to explain it to me, because like I said, I've heard some of the most racist remarks come from my own people.
Bro, who the hell are y'all to try to check us about our own opinion? I'm a free thinker. I'm allowed to think whatever the hell I want. And what you going to do about it? Like, bro, y'all really do sound insane sometimes. And downright authoritarian, which is a bit fascist. How you want everybody to kind of align with one party, which is kind of how fascism works.
I just don't get how I'm a coon, how I'm a race betrayer just for entertaining the other side. We got two choices, right? One choice has held our vote or held our support for the better part of 100+ years, and they've done nothing consequential for us, nothing substantive. We can't really name one policy off the top of our head. Like, yeah, they implemented that, and it's helped black folks to this day. But I'm a racist. I'm wrong for entertaining the other side, for hearing them out, for wearing the MAGA hat. Well, I just don't get it. What has the Democratic Party done for anybody, like for any black person? Like I said, they've really put more policy. They've really stood closer by. They've really had the backs of LGBTQ and other marginalized communities more than they have black people.
Man, what's that?
Did 12 million people. And I kept saying, why are you doing this to my liberal friends? Do you not understand that most average Americans do not think Trump is Adolf Hitler? And nowhere near Adolf Hitler. And it's incredibly offensive, actually, to keep using that analogy. So when it comes to the rhetoric, do you accept, Anthony, that on your side, the rhetoric was also pretty awful?
Well, no, I've said that on my podcast. In fact, my co-host Katty Kay, who's a fellow Brit, when someone's bringing up the word Hitler, she always says that that's just too glib, or to use an American expression, it's jumped over the shark.
Yo, and shout out Big Wave Dave, man, coming through with crazy support, bro. We know you. Love that, Big Wave Dave. My boy always showing out, man. Make sure to follow Big Wave Dave's channel, man. Got some interesting stuff over there, and he's trying to build it up, so we're going to definitely shout him out over here. Shout out Big Wave Dave 82. I'm white. You both know I always support you all. Am I a closet racist? Shit, you guys probably make more than I do. However, I enjoy your content, and most people on this channel, libtards, can shut the up. Hey, man, shout out Big Wave Dave, bro. You know we rock with you. Man. Shout out New Jersey, man. Shout out Big Wave Dave. Like I said, man, y'all go make sure to check out his channel. He's building it up. So go ahead and follow before he blows, man. But yeah, man, we got your back just like you got ours. And I do want to say to some of the stuff that you share, bro, I can attest. Like I've admitted it before. Some of the most racist shit I've heard has came out of the mouths of black people.
Bro, sad.
It is just sad, but a true reality. Like we done did all this work to reverse racism and try and I guess play on an even footing with everybody else. But now that we're there, essentially, I guess we've adopted a mentality that says we can be racist towards other folks. And I think that is not only divisive, but I think that's destructive, and you're doing black people a disservice. If you really want to kill racism, it needs to be done by a group effort, which means all people need to stop the racist remarks and the racist rhetoric. Shout out Joe McKay, $5. MLK was Republican, and originally blacks voted Republican until around the New Deal. Yeah, the party's flipped. Party's flipped to my knowledge. And yeah, Republican Party was started by black folks. Like a little known fact as well. Republican Party was founded and started by black people. So the more you know.
And shout out Joe McKay, man. Okay, good. That was you?
Yeah.
Perfect.
I don't see the president as Adolf Hitler, but I do see the president as somebody that hits hard with the language. When listen, we can debate it again if you want to, but when you're saying that non-white immigrants of the country and whether they're legal or illegal or eating dogs and cats, I think that's a rough thing to do. That's dehumanizing.
Showing out.
And I don't want him to do that. I don't want any leader, frankly, to do that.
Quick shout out.
We have to figure out a way to cohabitate in this country. We have to figure out a way to respect each other's cultures and each other's ways of living. But I do think there's a resonating message that the left needs to listen to. If you don't mind, just be 1 second. There was a great meme from the Harris team. There was a man standing at the voting booth, and there's a young little girl. And the young little girl said, "Daddy, who are you voting for?" And he said, "I'm voting for you." But that's not actually what happened, Pierce. What happened was there was a woman standing at that voting booth, and there was a young son. And the young son asked the mom, "Who are you voting for?" And she turned to him and said, "I'm voting for you." You see, and I think people on the left need to understand this woke culture, this demonizing every word that's spoken that they think is inappropriate, this cancel culture, if you will. I think the American people are tired of, and I think Donald Trump represents those people. And I think that's one of the reasons why he got 46% of the vote. So listen, the race is over. He won. Congratulations to him and his team. But if the left wants to get competitive with people like Donald Trump, they better understand what they're doing from a cultural perspective.
Kat, it was interesting that Trump talked about having a core of common sense.
Yeah,
and that is why he.
And shout out RBM Pack, $2. Tell people if you can't see both sides, I won't debate. Yeah, facts. Facts, dog. I mean, it's pointless to have a debate with somebody who's not open-minded. You're pretty much just gonna be talking past each other, and that's at the point. That's at the point where I don't know. At least me personally, if I can't debate somebody I know we can find some type of common ground with, and we end up talking past each other, I'm gonna get personally frustrated. Which is why I don't debate females. Yeah. But that's just my take. That's just Key's 2 cents. But just in general, if I'm not talking to somebody I perceive to be of a certain intellect, and if you are of a certain intellect, I know you can concede certain points. I know you're not gonna argue in bad faith.
I wouldn't even say of a certain intellect. I would say, like, are you perceptive? Like, yeah, can you see from both sides? 'Cause I don't even think you need a high IQ to be able to perceive from both sides, to be able to have that empathy to put yourself in the other person's shoe. Or, like, you feel me? Or just, I don't know, maybe have the imagination to do so. Like, they lack imagination to put yourself in our shoes when we go through it and how we see things.
I find the mentality you just described more common amongst the lower IQ.
He believes there's been this realignment of the electorate where you've got so many Black Americans, Latino Americans, and others gravitating to somebody, despite the fact he's been called racist and so on. This common sense part's been very interesting to watch. The New York Times today had a fascinating report that one of the most effective ads that the Trump campaign did, and they were stunned apparently by how effective it was the one that talked about Kamala Harris will be for they, them, and Trump will be for you.
He said, you all consider me smart? I'm weak.
Bro, I talked to you on the phone a couple of times, bro. Trust me, bro. There's a perceived just, I don't know, bro. You could tell it off of 3 or 4 seconds of talking to somebody, whether they're a complete dumbass or there's something there. Like, it doesn't necessarily have to be like, man, this guy's a genius. But yeah, like within the first few seconds of talking to somebody, you should be able to deduce whether or not this person is of a certain intellect.
Man. I never forget when Big Wave Dave Chovy shut the fuck up to get to the point. I was like, bro. Oh my God. Bro, golden moment from Big Wave Dave. Let's go, everybody.
Him, or
you, yeah, of course. And if anybody has any thoughts, questions, comments, disagreements, especially poll suggestions, video suggestions as well, can be shared for $1 or more. We'll go ahead and read it out or engage with you guys. But yeah, call-in show or debate night, Sunday night as well. So that'll be tomorrow. Make sure to join the community if you would like to have priority in those shows. And shout out Big Wave Dave 82, another $5. You all have a high opinion of me, and I appreciate it. Yeah, bro. I mean, I don't consider myself to be like no crazy super intellect. I feel like I'm smart enough, and that's all it takes. You don't necessarily have to be competing with the Mensa Club or whatever they call it, right? It's not like you need to be like the top smartest guy to have an opinion or, to say something of substance. So yeah, Brave, like I said, talked to you a couple times, bro. You're not no dumbass, bro. and I don't say that jokingly, but a lot of people are in fact dumbasses. So nah, Dave, you're good. You're good peoples. You're good in our book, man. You got a spot here in the community today and always, bro. And we rock with you, dog.
Whatever it was. But whatever it was making a point about this whole issue of the trans debate, which many Democrats have tried to downplay. And yet I've constantly said this is something most people really feel fired up about, which is this thing of trans athletes in women's sport and so on, and getting into women's spaces and so on. And the effectiveness of that ad seems to suggest that I was right and that the Democrats were very wrong to try and downplay it and say that people didn't care. And I saw Joe Scarborough on MSNBC saying the same thing. I think that kind of issue played into that core of common sense that Trump was talking about. What do you think?
Yeah, I wrote not 1, but 2 chapters about gender in my most recent book because of this. And I think it's one of these issues where a lot of people do agree, but there's the extremes on the 2 sides that are very loud. And another thing that's in my book is that research shows over and over again that there's huge gaps between what people will say out loud and what people will actually believe, perhaps because of fear of this sort of cancel culture, right? And I think with Joe Biden, it was one thing because I think a lot of people really believed that Joe Biden was a moderate, and Joe Biden himself might honestly be a moderate. I honestly think sometimes if you were to walk up to him and ask him to explain they, them, and pronouns with no prompter and no notes, I don't know that he would be able to do that. I think there was a team of people around him that was pushing some of this stuff. But I think honestly that when you have
think about it, think about how old Joe is. That's not of his generation. That's the newfound concept, a new generational thing for this they, them, pronouns, LGBTQ plus 2A, trans movement. That's some modernized 2024 ass shit. Joe Biden is a man from a distant reality, a distant generation when you compare it to the current generation and some of our